Today I'm going to solve Numbered Rooms Intro by Donatello86. This is a puzzle which is designed to be an introductory puzzle to the Numbered Rooms clue type. So if you've not done one of those before, this would be a really good puzzle to try, I understand. Okay, with that, let us have a look at the rules. Normal Sudoku rules apply, so we're going to place the digits 1 to 9 once each in every row, every column, and every box. Numbered rooms. A clue outside the grid indicates the digit which has to be placed in the nth cell in the corresponding direction, where n is the digit placed in the first cell in that direction. So, for example, if this clue, row 2, column 1, row 2, column 1, is a 7, then we're going to place a 2 in the seventh space across. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So that would force a 2 there if that were a 7. Conversely, if we were able to deduce that this were a 2, then that would make this one a 6. And in fact, it would also make this one a 4, because that would be 1, 2, 3, 4. So that's how numbered rooms work. Cells separated by a white dot contain consecutive digits. So if this were a 2, this could be a 1 or a 3. Cells separated by a black dot contain digits in a 2-to-1 ratio. That means that one will be double the other. So if this were a 2, then this could be 1 or 4, because then one digit would be double the other. Okay, I am going to restart the puzzle to reset the timer, and let's begin. Where do I want to start? Well, I see that we've got 3 3s up here and we've got 3 2s up there. And that is going to be interesting because where can I put the 3 3s? And therefore, what are these digits? Well, I can only put 1 3 in this box. And I can only put 1 3 in this box, and I can only put 1 3 in this box. So these 3 digits, one of them has to be from 1, 2, and 3. One of them has to be from 4, 5, and 6, and one of them has to be from 7, 8, and 9. I don't know which is which yet. But I've also got the same here. I can only put 1, 2 in each of the boxes in this stack. And so, likewise, one of these digits has to be from 1, 2, 3, one from 4, 5, 6, and one from 7, 8, 9. Now, these white dots now look interesting because what that's saying is the digits have to be consecutive. Well, if my 3 were here, making this a 2, that would have to be a 1 or a 3. Well, that would mean a second 3 in this box. So the only places where I can make these 2 consecutive digits but cross boxes is here and here, or here and here. So that means that those 2 digits must be from 3 and 4 or 6 and 7. And it helps if I type that correctly. Still helps if I type that correctly. And the exact same issue happens here. So this is going to be either from 3, 4 or 6, 7, which gives us a 3, 4, 6, 7 quad in the row. Okay, the next thing is, can either of these be a 3? And the answer to that is no, because if this were a 3, that would be saying place a 3 here. But I can't place a 3 there because I've already got a 3 here. So that can't be the 3, 4 pair. That has to be the 6, 7. And this can't be a 3, 4 pair. Sorry, this can't be the 6, 7 pair because I've now got that in the row. So it is the 3, 4 pair. That means that if this is 6 or 7, then this digit is saying that there's a 3 in one of those 2, and this digit is saying there's a 3 in one of those 2. And so, in fact, there's a 3 in one of those 2 in this box, in this row, and a 3 in one of those two. And then this 3, 4 is saying that we have 2s in those potential places. Okay. Now, if this digit were a 3, then because of this 3 clue, I would have to place a 1 there because the 3 is in the first place, the first cell from the clue. But I can't because I've already got a 3 there, so that can't be a 3. This has to be a 3, and then my black dot means that that is a 6. This is now a 3, because that's where the other 3 has to go, and this 3 here means that this is a 6, and this is a 7. And now we can see that in this row, 3 is in the second position from the clue, so that's a 2. And this clue, 3, is in the 8th position from the clue, so that's an 8. And in fact, if we have the same clue on either side of the same row or the same column, then the digits in the first cell from the clue are going to add to 10. Okay. So this cell, from what we've just seen, has to be an 8 or a 9. Because we know that the 2 is in one of those two places. So that's an 8 or a 9. But we have a 9 clue over here, which is saying that where the 9 goes. Now, if this were a 9, then this cell would have to be a 9 in order for it to be 9 cells away from the clue. But that would mean there are 2 9s in the row. So that is not a 9. That must be an 8. That places the 2 there in the 8th cell from the left. And that resolves that 2. And now this is a 3. And this is a 4. Okay. Now, this clue here, we need a 3 in this column. And it has to be in positions 1, 2, or 3. Because we've already got one in the 4, 5, 6 range here, and we've already got one in the 7, 8, 9. But if this were a 3, well, first of all, it's knocked out by this 3, so it can't be a 3 anyway. But this cell could never be a 3, even without knowing that, because if this were a 3, that would be saying place a 3 in the 3rd position, and then we would have 2 3s. So, in fact, the only digit that can have itself in the first cell next to it is the 1, because that one is then indexing itself. Any other time you try to put a digit, I can't put a 4 there, for example, because that's saying place another 4 elsewhere in the row. So I could never have a 3 there. Similarly, I can't put a 1 there unless the clue is a 1, because if I did that, that would be saying place the clued digit right in the same cell. So that can't be a 1. If it can't be a 1 and it can't be a 3, it must be a 2. That means that this is a 3 to be the second cell from the clue. And we've got a 3 down here, and so these two need to add to 10. That is 8, and we can count up just to verify that that is indeed 8. Okay, we now have a 2 in one of those 3, which is going to make this 4, 5, or 6, but it can't be 6. So we'll put in a 4, 5, and we'll put a 2 in one of those 2 cells. Okay. That all seems quite reasonable so far. And over here, we have another 2, and so that's going to be a 5 or a 6 because of our corner marks there. But If the 2 were in this cell, then that would be a 5, and that would be a 5, and we would have 2 5s in the row. So that must be a 6. That's not the 2. That is, and that's a 4. And this is coming together very nicely. All right. This here, we already have a 2 in the 1, 2, 3 range. We already have 1 in the 4, 5, 6 range. So this must be in 7, 8, or 9, but it can't be 7. So that is 8 or 9. And so that puts a 2 into one of those two cells. Okay, we've only got 3 digits left here. So let's fill those in with center marks. 1, 5, and 9. Okay, I don't see anything obvious there yet. Okay, these digits are from 1, 5, 8, and 9. Okay, we can eliminate 1 from this cell, because if that were a 1, it would be telling us to place a 9 in the exact same cell. I can eliminate 9, because if I put a 9 there, it would be telling us to place a 9 in the 9th cell down in that column, and I'd have 2 9s in the column. If this were an 8, it would be telling us to place a 9 here, but I can't place a 9 there because neither 4.5 nor 18 are valid Sudoku digits to place there. So that can't be an 8, that must be a 5. And I can remove 5 from those cells. So that's where the 9 goes. We seem to have placed a 2 here. Yes, that was because of eliminating, that was using these clues. So this 1 is saying that the 1 is in the second cell over. So we can place that. Okay. I am going to start marking cells or clues that I have completed for the numbered rooms. So I've done that one, the 3's there. I've done that one, the 3 is there, and I've done that one. This one I have not yet done, but I think I've just seen something. I'll come back to that in a moment. This 9 I have done. This 2 I have not yet completed. That one I have, and that one I have. That is done. This 9 is not. This 1 is. The 3 is. The 4 is not. The 3 is not. 1 is not. 3 is. 1 is not. 5 is not. This 3 is done. That 2 is done, and that 2 is done. So we've done a lot of the numbered rooms clues, but we've still got a few to go. Okay. So, right. These two cells, from what we saw earlier, because they reference the same digit that we're placing, these two cells have to sum to 10. So that makes this 1, 2, or 9, depending on what that is. But it can't be a 2, because I've already got a 2 in the column. So that can't be a 2, which means that that can't be an 8, and that gives me a 1, 9 pair in the column. Okay. Where is my next clue? To look at. Okay. Well, these digits can't be 1 or 2. So it must either be a 4-8 or a 3-6. Not entirely sure how that helps just yet, but it is true nonetheless. Okay. This can't be an 8 because I already have an 8 in the row. So that can't be a 9. That seems a small deduction. Ah, okay. This can't be a 4 or 6 by Sudoku. And if it were a 5, that would place a 9 here, which would clash with this 9. So none of those are where the 9 goes. I can't place a 9 here, because then I would also have to place a 1 there. And I can't place a 9 here, because that would be a 3, but I've already got a 3 in the box. So I can't place a 9 here, 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 or here, or here. So the only place for 9 in the row is there. And that makes this a 7. That's a really nice deduction. I like that one a lot. So we have now completed the 9. I'm going to mark these ones as done because I don't have to think anymore about them. That once I've done some Sudoku, it'll place the 1 and the 9 naturally, so I don't need to think about them anymore. Okay. What are the valid digits for here just by Sudoku? We have 1, 5, 6, and 9 from the column. Can't place a 1 there because I would then simultaneously have to have a 5 there. And I can't place a 5 there because that would place another 5 elsewhere. So that can't be 1 or 5. Okay. So 5 is there or there in this row. Okay. We've got all of the evens in this column plus 7. So those are from 1, 3, 5, and 9. This can't be a 1 for reasons we have mentioned many times. This can't be a 3 by Sudoku. So this would place a 4 here, here, or here. Well, I can't place a 4 there because of Sudoku, so that can't be a 9. Okay. Is it this 3? I can't place a 3 here because I'd have to have a 1. I could place a 3 here. That would make that a 2 and that a 9. I can't place a 3 there. I can't place a 3 there. Could place a 3 here or here. So that is 2, 5, or 6. Obviously, I can't place a 3 here by Sudoku. Okay. Haven't completed that clue yet. Okay. Maybe it's this dot or this dot that I need to think about. Because that could easily be a 4 if that's a 5. And then that would be 2 or 8. Maybe I just need to do some Sudoku. Might be an idea. So I have an 8 in one of those two. These 3 digits are 1, 5, 6, and 9. That's not a 1. That looks to be like it can be any of those. Okay. That is not a 9. That's a 1, 5 pair there. So that means that 1 is in one of those two cells. That makes this a 7 or an 8. But it can't be an 8. So that is a 7. That gives me a 1 there and a 5 there. Okay. So 1 is now in one of those two cells, but it's not that one. Not this one because of that. So these are 5, 8, and 9, and that can't be a 5. So that's a 5. That is 8 or 9. And these are 7, 8, or 9 in the row, and that one's not 9. And then these 3 digits are from 3, 4, and 6. Okay. This one removes a 1 from here. This digit here, or this dot here, I should say, what can I say about that? Doesn't have a 1, 2, or a 9 on it at all. It doesn't have a 3 on it, because if it had a 3 on it, it would have to have a 4 on it, which would break that cell. Could have 4, 5, could have 5, 6, could have 6, 7, could have 7, 8. That's still quite a lot that it could be. But we know that 3 is not there. Okay. Feel like there's something obvious that I am missing and I can't quite see what it would be. Okay, I've got a 5 here, so that's no longer a 5. So the 3 is either here or here, both of which appear to be reasonable. And in fact, that would tell us that that was a 4, 8 if that were a 3 there. Okay, is it this 5? No, that can still be a 5 there or a 5 there. This one is done. We can mark that. So I think it must be some more Sudoku then. Okay. So we have a 7 in one of those two. In fact, let's have a look at this column. We need 1, 4, 5, 7. And those are not 7. That's not a 1. Okay, that's not a 4 because that would need to have a 7 there. Four is here or here in this row. So that's not a 4, so one of these two is a 4. Okay, that's interesting. One of those two must be a 4. Not quite as interesting as I was thinking. If that's a 4, then this must be a 4, because it's the only place it would then have in this box. And if this is the 4, then a 4 would be in one of those two. Okay, these are 2, 4, 8, and 9. That one's not a 4, as previously discussed. Neither of those two are 8. Eight's in one of those two. There's no 2 there because we've already got the 2. And feels like there is something painfully obvious that everybody is shouting at me. No. Okay. If that's not a 7, then the 7 must be here or here. No, I am not seeing what I need to see, clearly. All right, maybe it's some interaction on here. Okay, if that were an 8, then that would be 2, that would be 6. That would put 3 there. Okay, well, I have spotted something. That's not a 9, and that's not a 9, and nor is that. So it was some Sudoku. That gives me a 3-5 pair in this column. So that's not a 5, and that is not 3 or 5. That makes that 1 or 9. And now 5 can't go into this position because we've eliminated it as a 5 as a possible candidate here. So that must be a 6. That makes that the 5. That places a 5 on this dot. That's useful. So that's now from 4, 5, or 6. That can't be a 6. Okay. So if this is 4, 5, then this must be a 3, 6 pair. If this is 5, 6, this is a 4, 8 pair. This 6 makes this a 2. That makes that a 3. That 2 makes this a 9. This is 8. That 9 makes this a 1, and this is 9. Let me mark this 5 clue as complete. That 9 makes this a 1, and this a 9. And we now need 3 and 4 in this row. So that's a 4. That's a nope. That's a 3. That's the 4. That's a 5, which places a 4 here, making this 2 or 8. That 5 makes this a 3. So we now have a 3 in one of those, but it doesn't necessarily have to be on that dot. In fact, it's not there. That's not a 3. That's not a 3 or a 4. That's a 6. That means that that is not a 6, and then this is not a 3 or a 6. That is a 4, 8 pair, and this 4 resolves that to be an 8 and a 4, which makes this a 2. That makes this the 5 and this a 6. Okay, I can remove, I can just make that a 9. That's an 8. That is not a 4. This is the only place for 4 in the box. That makes this a 4 over here. That's a 1, 5 pair, making that the 7. This must be a 1, and this must be a 5, giving me a 9 here and a 2 here. All right, I can remove that corner mark. This 4 resolves a 3 and a 4. We get a 7 there. That's an 8, that's a 9. So it was, in fact, spotting the 9 over here that has managed to resolve just about everything else. My 4 is done, my 3 is done, this 2 is done. I'm not going to bother marking those, I'll just get on with the rest of the Sudoku. So we need a 3 and a 6, which we can do. This digit must be a 1. This needs 7 and 8, which amazingly are not done. This is a 1 and a 6, which are done. That makes this a 7 or an 8 by the row, but not 8 by the column, so that's a 7, which resolves these two. And these two here are 6 and 8, which again is done. These two in this box are 2 and 7, which are done. And finally, we get to place a 4 in this box, which must go here. The 5 must go here. The 7 is this cell, and this is a 9. And that was a beautiful puzzle. I think that is a very good numbers rooms introduction. Thank you very much, Donatello, for making this. Yeah, it's a really good puzzle to help you understand some of the patterns to look for with numbered rooms. I particularly liked the break-in with the 3s here and the 2s here, so that these had to be from different sets of low, middly, and high digits, and then the white dots to force where they go, at least approximately, and then the fact that these were 3s, meaning it couldn't be this one. So, yeah, great break-in. Wish I'd spotted that 9 over here a little sooner, because that would have finished up quite a lot quicker. So I expect some good times on this from the people who solve the puzzles I present. Anyway, if you like this solve, then please hit the like button. You can subscribe to see some more, and I would love to hear your comments. I'm looking forward to next time. Be seeing you.